One fact that you need to know is that in a recent analysis, FICO found that people with an average score above 800 had not more than 3 credit cards. Now, I know that a lot of people are often trying to get as many credit cards as possible just so that they can build their credit score and increase it to the highest number possible, when that is not the case. That is not really what affects your credit score in terms of your ability to get the highest number. Now, my name is Stephen Ojo. I came here from Nigeria in 2010, and for the first 5 years of my time here, I never had a credit card. I never got my credit card until 2015, and I got it through Bank of America. The question is this: how many credit cards did I have to get in order to get an excellent score? Now, this information that I'll be sharing with you is not just my own personal experience, but also what people do that works for them. So it's not just what I know or what I've done that worked, but also what has worked for other people, so it can work for you. If you're new on my channel, you can hit that subscribe button, and also if you find value in this video, please give it a thumbs up because it definitely helps to push this video to other people. So let me give you a quick background. I'm not a fan of using credit cards for most of my purchases. That is the truth. It's up to you to believe what you think and have your own opinion and all that stuff. And I understand some of the benefits and the disadvantages of using a debit card for most of your purchases. But hear me out. When I came here from Nigeria, most of the things that we purchase in Nigeria are bought on a debit card. That's the money that you own, and that means that you must have that money before you spend it. Now, coming to the United States, I held on to that opinion and I thought, well, I must have my own money in order for me to be able to buy anything. But I started realizing that, hey, along the line, I was putting a lot of money on the table for things like rent. You know, you have to always put down a deposit because I never had a credit score, I never had any credit history. And that means that any landlord or any apartment complex I want to rent from will always require that I put down a lot of down payment. Now, this is something that, okay, initially I never really thought was a big issue because, well, I'm new in a new country, let me do what they do, because I didn't know any better. But along the line, I started realizing that, hey, why am I having to put down this down payment when the other guy that next to me never had to put on a down payment? Then I started understanding, well, you have to have a credit score in order for you to be able to rent from a place. And through that credit history that you have, these people can actually just give you this place without having to put down payment. And I'm like, wow, how come I didn't know this stuff? And that's when I started realizing that, well, maybe I might need to get a credit card. Now, the process of how I got my credit card and how I was able to go around building a credit score is a different topic. But in this video, the question I'm going to try to answer is, how many credit cards do you need in order to get that excellent score that you're trying to get? Mind you, this is coming from someone that had zero experience about credit history or having a credit score, or having a credit card. But one thing I knew how to do well was understood how money works, and also understood the damages that could come with taking on certain type of loans. Now, one of the things that you need to understand is that if you go to Experian.com, one of the most important factors that are considered in giving your credit score is your credit utilization. And this is basically how much of balance you carry on your credit card every month, and that will definitely affect your credit score. So if you have one credit card and you carry a lot of balance on that credit card, in comparison to the amount of credit available to you, your credit score will be severely impacted. One thing you need to understand is that your credit utilization rate is the second most important factor that determines your credit score. So that means that if you want to get your credit right, even with one credit card, you can build an awesome credit score. And that is the most important thing I'm going to share with you in this video before I get to the number of credit cards that I used in building my credit. Well, I have 3 credit cards, and here are the reasons why I have these 3 credit cards that I used till date. The first credit card I got has a credit limit of $1,200 on it. And here is the reasons why I had to get a second one. The thing is, if I'm trying to purchase something that is worth more than maybe $400 or more, this starts to put me at a point where I'm not comfortable with using that credit card. Remember, we talked about the credit utilization rate. Your goal is always to keep your credit utilization rate not more than 30% of the amount of credit available to you. Now, mind you, I have to make this clear. I always make sure I have the amount I need to buy something before I put it on my credit card. So that means every month, my balance is always zeroed out. But I always still make sure, just in case something comes up. And like, God forbid, you know, you're driving along and something happens to you after you've just made a big purchase. The cash that you're planning to use on paying off that credit card is now used to pay something more important, like a health bill or something. And that is why I always make sure that I do not use more than 30% of the credit available to me. I do not use up to 30% of it because of this credit utilization rate. Like I said, this is the second most important factor that impacts your credit score. So that pushed me on to get my second credit card. The second credit card I have has a limit of about $4,000 on it. And here's the reason why I have that credit card. In order for me to be able to buy more expensive things, I had to acquire a credit card that has a higher credit limit so that I do not use up to 30% of that credit card that I had initially. The initial one I had a credit limit of $1,200, and that means if I wanted to buy, let's say I wanted to buy a new phone that was worth maybe $600, $700, that means I wouldn't be able to buy it. So I had to get a new credit card that had a higher limit on it, and that means that by the time I spent that $600 on that card, I wouldn't have used up to 30% of the credit available to me. The last credit card that I have has a limit of about $10,000 on it, and this is for the expensive stuff. For example, when I bought my camera and I had to use about $1,000 plus with the gear and all those other things I had to buy, obviously I couldn't use the credit card that had $3,000 limit on it, or the one that has $1,200 limit on it. I had to use something that had more credit available to me. And all these things have all helped to build my credit score. So the question for you is this: before you get your next credit card, what do you need that credit card for? What are the things you're looking to get with that credit card? Because that will determine what credit card you should go for and what limit you should be looking for. I hope that this all makes sense and the way I've explained it all makes sense, because to be honest, I know that it could be a bit confusing, especially when there are no pictures or anything to show along with it. But if you have found value in this video, please give this video a thumbs up. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. It definitely helps me to keep doing what I'm doing. And also, I'll be sharing more details as time goes on if this kind of video gains, say, attention, because obviously my goal is to educate people in things that they are interested in. I don't want to just keep making videos that people are not interested in, if that makes sense. So I'll see you in the next one.